Well, here we are again. Some decent episodes today. Rightful Heir's gonna be the first one. Rightful Heir's the one with, the fake Klingon Jesus, Kahless. We're gonna be meeting him today. He's pretty cool. Tells some good stories. He loves his parables. Second Chances, where we get not exactly fake Riker. Technically, it's the same Riker, but it's a different Riker. But we get another Riker. We get two Rikers. And then Timescape is going to be the final episode. Timescape's the one with the... What happens in Timescape? There's the Romulan ship and the Enterprise, and they're stuck in time, and they're frozen, and Picard has a great time on the ship. It's lovely there. So yeah, while we're doing that, I thought while we were waiting, we could, instead of showing this, like, info screen, maybe I could show, I don't know, some cats. There's some cats. Look, cat. There we go. Just give something more interesting to look at than the info tab. This is a live stream from explore.org. Technically, it's like 25 minutes behind because for some reason right now it's just looking at a wall. So this is the actual live feed. I don't know what's up with the camera here. Yeah, first episode's going to be Rightful Heir, so everyone be queued up to that. It's season 6, episode 23, I think. That sounds right. Myrtle the Turtle. Except that's a frog. Why isn't... Well, why is your picture not a turtle? Then why isn't your name Froggle? What what's happening here? What are the rules of your name? Okay. Okay. You can be Myrtle the Frog if you would like to. Oh, there we go. The camera pan back. Now this is actually live kittens. Is there anyone else talking? Oh, hang on. Okay, now you can hear people in Discord. Okay. So don't worry about me sounding like a crazy person talking to someone about a frog. It made sense in context, I promise.
Nice.
It made sense in context.
No, he's just talking to himself as always.
I don't know what I never spoken to this man before this sentence right now, so clearly he's got something wrong.
Okay. As long as we fix it before we actually press play, it's fine. Don't worry about it. God, I always forget to press the button. Alright. It's fine. Don't worry about it. No, I'm not talking to the cats. Yes, this cat up here laying on the shelf, that's Myrtle the cat.
Yeah. Yeah. Once again, not a turtle.
No, not a turtle. Not a frog either.
That is a fair point.
You think it's really boring for the cats to live in the same... I mean, I guess I live in the same room my whole life, so I guess that's fine. But,
Yeah.
I mean, they don't
gotta
really...
go out sometime.
I don't... Well, let's see. We have a whole live stream of a full day. Right now, okay, that's night. No, it looks like they're in here 24 hours.
There's no, like, rotation. They don't got anywhere else to go.
There's a person playing with the cats. So I guess that's nice. Oh, they have also a little plush banana.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me put the info screen back up because we're 30 seconds to start. Everyone be queued up to Season 6, Episode 23, Rightful Heir.
A lot of good Klingon stuff, this one.
There's some Klingon stuff.
Probably something about honor, I wouldn't know.
Yeah, there's going to be a story about, like, divine wind and...
Glory
Everybody
to
press
you.
play in 5, 4,
Jaha.
3, 2, 1, play. Yes, we might be getting a little glory to you and your house. Hey, oh, and there's Tracy. And she's gone. Oh, we got a little bit of show audio come from someone for a second. But it's gone now. Oh, I'm not blurred. Man, I just not clicking any of the right buttons today. Now it's blurred. Okay. Eventually, maybe by the time of the next episode, I'll figure out what buttons to press on my own stream.
It still surprises me how good these look in HD. Like
Yeah.
every time I boot one up, it's just like, man, this looks great. After watching them, originally on television and then DVD for years, to see them look like this is just
Oh, they did a
uniforms,
fantastic
pop.
job.
Yeah, they look fantastic. I really want them to do the rest of the shows.
I know, but it's so expensive, and they just don't care.
And I mean, they could at least start with, because I know most of DS9 was shot on film, and most of the optical effects were done, in camera, which would be a little bit easier. But as soon as they get to the digital effects,
Yeah,
that's where they're gonna have to.
They managed to get some HD footage of DS9 for the documentary, but that's it.
Yes, and that was almost worth the price of admission.
it was
to see that.
lovely.
It was so beautiful to see.
Seeing that
just the
Curly
promenade
Cup
in
in HD.
HD.
So,
Yeah, to see
so
Court's
Worf
bar
doesn't
and the promenade, all that.
Worf doesn't show up for work one day, and they send a whole security team to his quarters.
You could just have a cold, man. Come on.
They could just knock.
I think it speaks more to how reliable Worf is as an officer.
What? But why are his
Yeah,
eyes
that's
crossed
true.
like
Like,
that?
he's either dead or praying to Kahless.
No,
Well,
he wouldn't-
Riker did immediately say something's wrong.
Yeah.
It would be
And, yes,
dishonorable.
I
not to
believe the
show up.
blur. I think the blur does have to be so pronounced. I mean, I might be able to get away with less, but really the only purpose of it is so you can synchronize to when the scene changes. And that amount of blur is sufficient for that, so I think it's fine.
This goddamn stars moving, man.
Bloody stars.
Every damn time.
One day I'll go through and make my own version of this with fixed stars.
I noticed that years ago, and it's been pissing me off since.
Yes,
Sure, that goes
unfortunately,
for all of us.
As much as I would like to have it unblurred so we can see it properly, bloody copyright, so I can't.
I mean, I don't know what your guys' setup is. I've got the show running on my TV, and then I've got the Discord here. Like, I don't have YouTube, Discord, and the show all at once.
No, I don't keep the stream on while I'm doing this.
No. Well, the blur is for people in the YouTube chat. It's not for you
Yeah,
guys.
of course.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
It wouldn't even be helpful for you guys because there's going to be a few seconds of delay.
Yep.
Yeah.
I always thought it
believe
was
it or
interesting
not-
what ranks they chose to abbreviate during the main credits. They have lieutenant as LT, but then they'll have commander fully spelled out, with the exception of I think it's
CMDR.
with CMDR for Riker. And I mean, it's obviously just to fit the space, but it was just the lack of consistency was always something I noticed.
Is Riker the only person in the credits with a full name? Everyone else is Captain Picard, Lieutenant Worf, Commander Data, Commander William Riker.
That's true. I wonder why that is.
Oh, come on, be nice to Worf. He was late one
He
time.
missed one
I
day.
know. Out of 7 years, or I guess 6 years at this point.
Yes. Give the man a break.
It's odd to see him without his bandolier.
Yeah.
When did he make full lieutenant? Does that
think he
happen off
started
screen?
full
Is that in
lieutenant.
between? I thought he was JG in season. I think it was junior grade in season 1.
Probably
and
Tasha Yar's
Tasha.
death is going to bump him up a little bit.
Might have been when Worf died. Oh yeah, I'm looking at old screenshots. Yeah, he was Lieutenant Junior grade before.
But here we got a good shot of his pips, so we can see he's full lieutenant.
Who plays
do like in
Lieutenant
DS
Thomas Riker? I don't know. We'll have to wait for the credits.
Yeah. I do like how in DS9 they made a difference between the non-commissioned officers and the commissioned officers, their pips. Or no, was that Voyager when they? No, was it Voyager that does that?
Sorry, Voyager
There's
that
at some
does what?
point that for the on their collar, the rank insignia on their collar, like for a long time, like O'Brien, Chief O'Brien is a non-commissioned officer, so he has like normal officer pips.
Yep.
But then
yep.
later on, they change it to the non-commissioned officer insignia. Was it DS9 that did that or Voyager that did that?
It was DS9, I think.
Voyager never had a uniform change.
Well, just the pips. I mean, like on the collar, because I mean,
well, yeah.
all the Maquis crew members have special collar pips. So like Chakotay and B'Elanna, they all have like special rank pips that are different than the normal just circles.
So there's something about Kahless here I'm not clear on. Worf's talking about is like how he waits for us in the next life, yada yada yada. Did Kahless himself actually say he was divine, or was he just some guy that people liked and made a religion out of him?
Later, I think that came later.
See, I don't remember anything in this episode about him saying like, "Oh, I am the son of." Well, there is no. Well, there are Klingon gods, but they're dead.
Yeah, their own Stovacor.
I don't know.
I do
how
like
Klingon
the
religion works,
the
other than
amount
very
of,
well.
like, I do like the culture that the world building that they do in these, especially in Deep Space Nine when it comes to Klingon culture. Like at the beginning, it's just they're Klingons and they're warlike, but it's through these shows that we get Stovacor and Kahless and all the different rights and honors and duties of becoming a warrior. All that stuff just kind of gets fleshed out.
Yeah, Deep Space Nine did that to a lot of species. Actually, I'm thankful for that.
12 days by shuttle. Is that a warp-capable shuttle, or is that a basic regular shuttle?
But still, 12 days on a shuttlecraft, that's a prison sentence.
Yeah, that's quite a road trip. I don't think he gets a runabout. I think he has to go with one of those weird boxy ones.
No, he's got to go with a boxy. What I'm saying, it would have been a much better choice.
Instead of going in a full RV, he gets to go in a Honda Civic.
For 12 days. And he can't stop and get out anywhere.
Nope.
I mean, it's space. There's no pit stops. Look
he
at that.
He can walk around a little bit inside.
Beautiful.
Ooh, matte painting. A much different style of matte painting, though. They have clouds from behind it. It's usually just top down. How come Worf gets all cross-eyed when he gets religious?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I also wanted to comment on how I'm not sure he's allowed to have a giant open flame on the ship like he had. Where'd he...
He had 15 candles going, man.
Not just 15 candles, he had a whole bloody fire pit in the middle of his room.
Yeah, that's right.
I feel like the fire suppression system should have something to say about that.
Yeah, I think...
Maybe that's why they came to his room. He just ripped the sprinklers out the wall.
They could just the
sprinklers were without honor.
They could just open up one of the windows and just have all the air blow out.
One of the clear titanium windows. Aluminum.
Transparent aluminum, yeah.
So I imagine how these visions work is either you have to sit there and stare until you go crazy with the hunger and thirst, or they give you drugs. I think it's the hunger thing.
I mean, but as we'll learn, these Klingons aren't above, doing
12 days
crazy
on
shenanigans.
Shuttle. 12 days on shuttle, 10 days on the planet. He spent 22 days here.
It's a long leave.
The voice of this Klingon is the voice of the original Man-at-Arms on He-Man and Masters of the Universe. So I remember as a kid watching this and being like, that sounds like Man-at-Arms. And then when IMDb became a thing, I could confirm it.
So wait, is that guy also the voice of Skeletor? Is that him?
I don't know if Skeletor and Man-at-Arms were the same voice actor or not, but a quick Google search can find out.
But a YouTube fella said that Skeletor appears as a Klingon cleric, and immediately I thought they meant Skeletor from the Worf's combat training. But I think they might mean Skeletor from actual Skeletor.
Well, back in the 80s, they would reuse a lot of voice actors. Like they would come in, like Casey Kasem did like 6 Transformers or something like that. It's crazy.
Okay, so that guy is Skeletor then. Okay. Mr. Oppenheimer. Alan Oppenheimer.
He does Man-at-Arms, and does he do Skeletor?
Apparently.
I mean, that would make sense.
Skeletor, destroyer of He-Man. And Worf's got things to do. He can't sit here for like 2 weeks waiting for a vision. He has a job.
He's been here for almost a month.
There's a good Stovator plotline on Star Trek Online.
Do you get to visit Stovacor like in Skyrim?
I believe so.
You get to go on the stupid ship.
Yes.
Okay, good.
The Barge of the Dead.
Wow,
Oh,
he did Skeletor, Man-at-Arms, Cringer.
that's quite a name.
Yeah, he did. And then Battle Cat. Wow, he did quite a few.
You know, when
Okay,
B'Elanna got home, she could have proved like Stovacor's existence just by figuring out if her mom was still alive.
Kahless looks kind of weird to me. He looks... I don't know. Like his top half doesn't fit his bottom half.
Yeah, he doesn't look as grand as he should. Like he does, his proportions are weird.
Which I think that's reasonable. He's just a guy that people made a religion out of.
Clone.
Yeah.
And he's got some insane ridges.
Wolf's face.
Alright, he's back. We got Kahless. And the matte painting again, but this time without the cloud effect. Different cloud effect. He doesn't quite look like his painting. Also, that's not Kahless' sword. We see Kahless' sword later on. It has a bunch more spikes on it. It's a darker
Yeah,
color.
he's a nice matte painting.
It was just one he made out of hair in his spare time.
But if that's the sword of Kahless, then what did we find in DS9?
Mm-hmm. Maybe
I
he's
guess
just
he just
talking
has two
about
swords.
the type of
no-
sword.
Yeah, he just made this one out of his hair. I don't think that was like his main sword. I think it's just something he did.
I just think that if they were
How many
going
swords
to...
Does he dabble in blacksmithing like Jesus dabbled in carpentry? He just has a bunch
That
of
would be-
swords?
That wouldn't be
That
bad,
would be
actually.
that would be a great, like, character thing for Kahless. You'd think though that they would have genetically engineered a more fit Kahless. This guy he's had a little too much
He's a bit
bloodline and
portly,
goth.
yeah. Well, that's all you get in the afterlife, so it makes sense.
That sounds like a very unlikely story.
No, it's fine. Kahless is just password protected.
Religious
Also in the-
ancient security question.
Yes. In the password behind him, now I'm stuck on passwords. In the painting behind him, he doesn't have a bat'leth, he has a dagger. That's fine, he probably has a
I
dagger
think it's
too.
pretty. Yeah, it's pretty fair to assume that a Klingon god has like a million weapons.
Yeah, those are some intense ridges. And they go inward, where Worfs go outward. Oh, that's a shame. Kahless would have definitely been into it if it was a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if he thinks phasers have no honor because he ain't actually hitting anybody.
You need to be able to look someone in their eyes as they die. Could be a hologram. A shapeshifter. Wait, what kind of shapeshifter?
I mean, it could be a
It could be.
founder. They wouldn't be able to tell.
Yeah, this is season 6, and we started DS9 in season 5, I think. So we might know about the founders.
I would say we're just on the cusp of this universe knowing.
They should take a sample of his blood and see what happens.
It never even works.
He
It's a
does actually
worthless
mention
test.
shapeshifter.
Well, there are shapeshifters. We have a
Yeah, there's lots of
Cumloid in Star Trek
shapeshifters.
6.
Hmm.
We had Marta.
Several omnipotent species.
So if this isn't actually Kahless, how does he know so much about Worf?
They're going to explain that later. Basically, by cheating, that's how.
They got their money's worth out of that matte painting.
Yeah?
They slightly repainted it.
Gowron. Not Gowron. Gowron. Oh, I wonder if anyone calls him just Ron.
Harry really did.
Oh, what is
Yeah,
Kahless
well, it's
doing
really
here
nice.
exactly? How long has he been here that he's just hanging out with the priests? I guess he's waiting for Gowron to show up.
A lot of people want to talk to him.
Well, that's not very nice, Kahless.
This is very convenient of him.
Yes. Alright, now who's a better fighter? Klingon Jesus or Human Jesus? Because Human Jesus started whipping people in a temple and throwing tables all over the place.
I would say Klingon Jesus because that's the point of his basis.
But we're about to find out. Is Klingon Jesus actually a good fighter?
Apparently not comparatively to Worf.
Yeah, no, he's losing.
But I mean, that brings up a good point. Is Worf a good Klingon?
Sometimes.
Possibility.
He's a really good what he thinks Klingons are.
Wave.
At this point,
I always looked at his story arc as him accepting the fact that he's, a man of two worlds.
yeah, but like there's like 15 episodes where he's in trouble with the Klingon way.
Okay, let's not just make an excuse so you don't have to keep fighting and losing. Not really locked in battle. You kind of called it off. Yes, laughter distracts. Laughter distracts.
Oh, spikes on his hand. Showed hurt.
On his actual hand, or does he have gloves?
He's got like gloves.
Okay. Apparently, Klingons are into fingerless, spiky gloves. Yeah, Worf was not fooled there. He knows what's up. I mean, you can just scan him again. It's not a one-time deal.
Yeah. I
I'm
mean,
sure the
a
ship
little bit because
a
he's
lot more
been
powerful.
he's got the Klingons on his side now.
Yeah, it seems unlikely, Worf.
Thank you, Data.
A lot weirder stuff has happened.
Yeah.
This far into
True.
the series, you shouldn't be surprised.
Like I
We
appreciate
we
them
have
wanting
met
to
a
keep
lot of
scientific mind.
godlike beings. Like
Yeah.
a lot.
I appreciate
Hell
them
of a lot.
keeping a scientific mind, but I also think they would be a little more open to the possibility.
An honored guest. Okay, so they're fine with this. Give them the benefit of the doubt.
Another warfare Data episode.
Oh, Worf's got faith. Is it faith of the heart?
No!
Is he going where the heart will take him? I think he's got faith to believe that Kahless can do anything. Oh, come on, have a chat.
Why do they always park their ships looking at each other? I don't see that as useful for
It's
transport.
dramatic that way. Don't worry about it.
It just makes it harder to pull out.
Got old Big Eyes Gowron.
Very nice fancy jacket. We don't see that very often. Normally he just shows up wearing the armor.
It's got some funky ridges too.
So the idea of Kahless, I mean, everybody already believes in Klingon Kahless, but
Yeah.
not Worf, what's his name? Gowron. He doesn't want to split his power. He doesn't want to. He's worried that Kahless. God, I'm all mixed up with these Klingon names. Gowron is worried that Kahless will take some of Gowron's power. No, that seems reasonable. Though I
Yes.
don't know if literal gods have genetics.
He also was just a normal guy.
Except now he returned from the dead.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I mean, as we learned from Chancellor Palpatine, all those who gain power are afraid to lose it. Even the
Even
Jedi.
the council.
and even Chancellor Palpatine.
Even especially Chancellor Palpatine.
You should have installed more railings.
Or higher ones.
Why was there a reactor shaft in the throne room?
Yeah, put a gate over it, man. Get out of gates.
Does it have to be there? Is that is that a load-bearing reactor shaft? What is that?
You think the room was just like a storage closet and you decided it was...
It's just
Thrown there.
Palpatine wanting to be dramatic as always.
It has a nice view, I guess, but
Perhaps he tosses other people off into it.
Yeah, it's
Maybe.
a threat.
yeah, those are some weird gloves. Are those supposed to be teeth on the end?
I don't know, but they were moving around in the wide shot like they weren't secured very good.
Now,
Wait, what do you mean? How?
even if this, even
Have
if
you
this
not
was the
eaten?
real Kahless, it's been 1,000 years. Would he really be a good ruler of the Klingon Empire?
He doesn't even know what a tricorder is.
Yeah.
This Klingon's going from ridge to no ridge back to ridge again. I mean, that's a long time.
Kahless is going to have to go back to school to get caught up on what's been happening. It's going to take him at
Yeah.
least a few years to be ready. Really, you should make Gowron, which they are going to do. They're just going to make him the Pope.
I always thought it
doesn't-
was more comparable to, like, what they do in the United Kingdom, where we have the the figurehead of the monarchy, and then you've got the
actual
prime minister
government.
with the actual power. Yeah. So it's
Oh,
more
that's
like
true. Spock
Kahless
did
is
come
the
back from
family
the dead.
Windsor.
But
The power to
Enterprise was-
cheat death is a power that many have achieved. He says he's going to restore honor. I'm thinking
miss the
back to
ships.
Enterprise, where... Jeez, that's quite a line reading, Michael. I'm thinking back to Enterprise, where that Klingon lawyer talks about, it's like, oh, our people used to be cool. We had lawyers, and we had teachers, and we had philosophers. We had all kinds of stuff. Now everyone just wants to fight. I wonder if Kahless is going to bring back honor to the, the more menial labor, not just the warrior caste.
Yeah, send more Klingons to law school.
Well, we also learned that, like, Klingon scientists aren't highly revered either in that episode with, the murder mystery with Crusher and the
Super
Yep.
shield.
and the super shield.
Where it's like 80% narration.
It absorbs 4,000 radiation damage or lasts 180 seconds, whichever comes first. Don't you see? Yeah, no, that's a good point, Gowron. Worf sort of indirectly has political power. He's a very convenient tool they can use.
Yeah.
How do they... Okay. So, when we see, like, a Klingon lawyer, they say, like, oh, the courtroom is my battlefield. What about Klingon cashiers? What's their battlefield? How do they get honor?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Howdy.
Well, Klingon lawyer is better than a Cardassian lawyer.
Cardassian lawyers don't do bloody anything.
Well, Worf's grandfather was a Klingon lawyer.
I just came back from the store and I have to move again.
All right.
I'm going to Micro Center.
So I noticed there the ships were a little offset vertically, so if they just flew straight forward, they would go past each other. So maybe they're okay.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Still, though, they should be a little more distant, probably.
Yeah, you can just Klingon pilot bringing it in.
Girl.
They couldn't. They can't even give him a cushion for his stone throne. So for you people who are in the D&D group, I mentioned before that a character that I did had the that 10-minute inspirational speech feat. This is the speech I used. I just quoted this.
Nice.
And then we got temporary hit points. It worked so well. Except I changed it slightly to be like, they cannot stand against our divine wind. Only a fool would try. Something to that effect.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
What color were his eyes?
Was he left or right-handed?
Sharon's eyes.
Yeah. It's almost like the
Oh,
director of
God.
the episode was like, "Hey, when you say the line about his eyes,
My
why don't you
eyes.
go really big with yours? Just use your big eyes."
Look with your special eyes. You're not answering the question. What color were his eyes? How tall was he? You're not answering any questions here, Kahless. Alright, stab him. Normally I would say to use gun on him, but you're a Klingon, so use knife on him. Just stab him. There you go. There's the knife, come on. If you kill him, this is just over.
This is like what happens in the Beat It Michael Jackson music video.
Ooh, what I want to do is I want to just post this scene, but with the Gorn music over it. It's good TOS that fight theme.
Jeez, Daryl not fought before because Worf was doing it insanely well against him, and Worf just gets beaten up every episode.
Worf had a bigger sword. How much trust do you need to stab someone? There we go, kill him. No, Worf, come on, just kill him.
Go.
I'm still totally unclear on what what Kahless actually did when he was alive. He gave some inspiring speeches and then he just left. Or died. I mean, we could also just say he's been dead for 1,000 years, he's a little rusty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Warnog?
Very Klingon name for some Nog.
I think Worf's right.
In fact, I think next week we are going to be seeing some Warnog. Get it? Because it's Nog and there's a war going on.
Whoa!
Because everybody loses his leg. Oh,
Yes,
spoiler.
although I don't know if it's next week. I just made that up. But we're going to be seeing that at some point. There we go. Now it's the big reveal. Fake Kahless. Now, suppose people claim to have found the Shroud of Turin repeatedly, which is the thing that Jesus was buried in. If that had DNA on it, and we just made another Jesus, would that be Jesus?
We could just watch this episode and see what happens.
Yeah.
Because it would.
You're being
Jesus too.
or two.
How would the Pope feel about that?
He would challenge him to a fight in St. Peter's Chapel.
Oh, whipping fight?
He just throws off his hat, squares up.
They would grab some batleth and just go at it.
So yeah, they
Honest
when
figure.
he knew Worf's stories, it's just because they told him. Because Worf told the clerics.
And he was laughing.
Some kind of fungus.
Yep.
Good thing Data wasn't there.
Worf's, What's worth laughing when he was thinking this because he doesn't laugh. I don't know. Might have been laughing.
I don't know if we want a Klingon god. I don't know if Kahless wants that position. Because the last time we had Klingon gods, they said they killed them. Yeah, now poor Kahless is having an existential crisis. He's not exactly a real person. That's rough, buddy. Is this on the ship? Oh, no,
Yeah.
okay, we're back on Borath.
Maybe.
Or no, we're in the holodeck.
Yeah, I believe you're in the holodeck.
I thought this was just some big stone chamber they had on the Bortas.
I wouldn't be surprised.
They are fools.
I don't know. I'm just right behind you. I guess I never just got back. Catch up to the timeline. I know we're around. I'm looking.
So somewhere on Borath is a genetic laboratory.
Yes.
Got that.
It's
Somewhere
hidden
in
under
that
the
beautiful
surface.
map painting. Yeah.
Crisis
I know
of the
we're around.
spirit?
Thank
When did Data have a crisis of spirit?
Has the dream episode happened yet?
Yes. Yes, it has. One of them. We had the episode where he starts having dreams. We haven't had the episode where he starts screeching at a high pitch.
Yeah, where the next 3 episodes all use the same fisheye lens because they're not going to waste money on that.
Yeah.
It is a cellular peptide cake with mint frosting.
Mint frosting. I don't know, mint frosting doesn't sound that good.
With mint frosting.
I don't know how well it pairs with cellular peptides, but nah, mint's it's okay.
I mean, mint and
I
chocolate
like mint
go well
frosting,
together.
but I don't like anything mint.
I mean, have you ever tried a cellular peptide cake with mint frosting?
No, so maybe they just pair really well together. Who's to
Yeah,
say?
it's like
Clone.
A clone.
Clone.
I mean, that seems reasonable. This seems like heresy. I don't think you're allowed to do that.
It was a clone.
Wait, okay, yes, on the holodeck. Wait, do the Klingon gods care if it's a holodeck or does it have to be real?
Yeah, to the artificial nature of it. I don't know if they
I
really
remember
care.
Martok's wife gets all angry that Jadzia used replicated candles. But that just might be her.
Right.
Got another civil war. Why does Worf get to make all these decisions? Nobody even liked him last year.
on a Moog and all that.
Kahless doesn't seem into any of this. He's still in the
No,
middle of his
yeah.
existential crisis. Leave him alone. Give him a few days. Lead by example. Does that include political power?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kahless, what are you, chicken?
Oh, are we ready for a title drop? He is the rightful heir to Kahless. We got it. We got the title.
I love when
Yes.
movies do that. Like, you're watching a movie and they're like, man, I'm going too fast and too furious. And you're like, it's the
You're
title.
all astronauts on some kind of Star Trek.
Kind of Star Trek.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good title drop.
Yeah.
Half of the people in the
And
theater,
some kind of Star Trek.
half kind of chuckled.
So at this point, they know he's not Kahless. He's just sort of a walking encyclopedia of Kahless. He's a walking Bible.
Yeah, I think they're viewing him more like a son.
So he really is Klingon Jesus.
I like how this episode just demonstrates, see, guys, it's all made up. Like,
Oh yeah, I'm getting buffering on
Like
the stream. We're dropping
power-
some frames. Might fix itself in a second though. Oh no, it's getting worse. Wait, it's getting better. Wait, it's getting worse again. Oh, it's getting better. And it's getting worse. Stream,
yeah,
why
I
do you
just like
gotta do this
idea
to me?
that like monarchies and deity, it's all just people deciding one day. It's like, yeah, we're gonna make this guy the king, so we all need to bow now.
Yep.
The stream's quality is like the state of Klingon political stability throughout the years.
Completely unstable.
Just going up and down.
Alright, so apparently replacing my modem didn't fix that, which is not ideal. But it was okay for a few weeks. Now it's breaking again.
Oh.
Weird.
Behind your modem because sometimes it may have an effect on how long you've had it.
Maybe I should just turn it off and on again. Maybe not right now, though. His teaching, so he's not considering himself Kahless.
No, I think they
Right.
make a very good distinction that he's not Kahless, but he's the heir to Kahless. I think
Yeah.
it's a good bit of semantics that can make it all this easy to digest if you're Klingon.
Fits into the Klingon ways of bloodlines and all that. It's not too much a stretch from their culture.
Okay, goodbye.
And they backed up a little bit. No, there they go. God, that would have been disastrous. The warp nacelles were like
Yeah,
right to the
They
saucer.
were real close to each other. That's... Just back up. Put it in reverse for a few seconds.
It's just the warp nacelles grinding along the top.
Oh, the music out. Very well.
Alright, let me put up the next episode. The new title, let me stop
Second
the
Chances.
timestamp. Second Chances, which is kind of a weird one. It's okay. It's fine.
A lot of season 6 and 7 are like,
Yeah.
it's good, but I don't know what they were thinking.
So 1 minute to that. So everyone be queued up to Season 6, Episode 24, Second Chances. Yeah, Season 7
Season
especially
7
is weird.
It's because every episode has to deal with like some kind of family drama, and it gets annoying.
Yeah, it's that usually happens when a show is wrapping up. They just sort of throw what they had at the wall.
Yes. Another good example in season 7 of it's good, but it's real weird is the episode Masks, where Misaka is waking and Data's just playing every character.
Yeah, it's one of those things where Brent Spiner went into the writer's room and was like, look, I'm sick of being this monotone robot. I can do voices, guys. I have range.
Well,
let me wear
he
masks
can
and be nuts.
try to do voices.
Yeah.
All right, everybody get ready to press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. Oh, jumping right
They also
into
bought a fisheye lens for season 7, and they refuse to not get their money worth.
Season 7, yeah. They probably were right to end the show at that point. They were running out of good ideas.
It never
Hey,
got
Tracy.
terrible.
No, but if they kept going, it might have.
Yeah,
Ended
they
on a
got
high
hit.
note.
In a couple seasons, it wouldn't have been.
Hey, got back just in time.
Also, I want to point out that guy's double Yamaha keyboard that is clearly just 2 Yamaha keyboards stacked on top of each other.
It's fine.
Well, at least doesn't have 4 arms like that one
You
player.
could still see the plugs in the back there where the white is.
Like I need
They
another
never-
pair of hands.
They never thought anyone would watch this shit in HD. It's fine.
Oh, and Tracy gets a front row seat. Except there's no rows. They're just random chairs scattered throughout the room.
And I like how Riker showed up in his pajamas.
Yeah. Nightbird. Do it. How come Jonathan Frakes gets 2 credits in the Amazon X-ray thing? Why you gotta troll him like that, Deanna? Come on, Johnny, I believe in you. You can do it. Thank you, Mr. Data, for the bottom of my heart.
I think he should have declined and said, Data, the show must go on. It's the show business rule. I gotta keep playing.
The band's still going. They're just going to play the whole song without the trombone. Not a second.
Hey, there's that guy that I could swear I recognized. He was in the Frame of Mind episode.
I always get a little sad when I see ensigns that are like in their 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your career's gone nowhere.
Whatever, they get to work on the Enterprise, the flagship, and they get to hang out with the holodecks and the replicators and Tracy.
At a 98% fatality rate.
Ah, come on. It's not that high.
Do you say the starship was called the Potemkin or the Pokemon?
The Pokemon.
No, yeah, just first. Definitely Pokemon.
Being an ensign is definitely a lot more survivable as the shows go on.
So,
Not
just
J.J. Abrams comes along, and you're right back up there.
let me look up what class of ship that is. USS Pokemon Star Trek? Excelsior class. It's always Excelsior. So,
Yeah, that was like
what type would an Excelsior class be? I mean, the obvious answer is flying type, but I think that's boring.
Data looked a bit like a sort of oh, what's it called? Clay model there when he beamed in.
Wait, is this a different Potemkin? No, this is a station.
Yeah.
Who could it be? Get the gun. Gun.
He split screen.
He's done a
There you
man.
go.
One up.
William
Really
Riker.
taking cover.
My God. I like how his beard is perfectly trimmed.
Yeah, the beard. He's also the same weight as Riker. Because I would think that while he was on the station, he would have had to ration some of his food, maybe, and he would have kept that slim figure he had in the first couple seasons.
It was a predestination that he had to grow that beard out.
I see. It's a fixed point in time.
Yeah. Reality would break without it.
Oh, there go the stars. Goodbye.
See ya.
That's not how stars work. Some people in the video where I just pointed that out, that's the whole video. Some comments were like, "Oh no, that's just gravitational lensing." For the record, that is not how gravitational lensing works at all.
Yeah.
It would look like a line. It wouldn't move the stars. It would bend them. It would
Gravitational lensing does not just put them on a plate. That's not how that works. Captain Jean-Luc Picard, oh no, he gets his full name.
Full name.
Commander
Captain.
William Riker.
We have abbreviated commander.
Lieutenant
Abbreviated lieutenant commander.
Lieutenant Worf.
Full Lieutenant Worf.
Not Worf's last
Dr.
name.
Beverly
No
Crusher.
one cares about that.
The Doctor.
Everybody skips over Troy because we don't care. Counselor Deanna Troy, Lieutenant Commander Data. Though you can't really abbreviate counselor very easily.
Yeah. Party in the back.
If you tried, no one would get what you were talking about.
Ooh. He walked around him.
Yeah, they were so proud of this shot.
Look at
Yeah.
that.
Camera was moving too. Did a mild pan.
That's a good effect. Now, they do look a little out of place.
And
Like
out of
there's
focus a little bit.
Yeah.
Looking right at him. He's a bit far to the right.
I think that's to hide the fuzzy edge. Just make them low res. Oh, wow, he's so sharp now. When it's one at a time.
Mhm.
He tried. He did return to the Potemkin. So this is the episode, for me, that absolutely confirms that the transporter is a murder machine. Because it can't be just using the same matter to reconstruct you, because now there's two of them.
Directed by Geordie LaForge.
Yeah.
You get a comprehensive list of all the series transporter accidents. No one would take it if they saw it.
I mean, to be fair, plane crashes are pretty horrific, but statistically they're safe. Probably the same with the transporter.
Yeah, it's most likely it.
It's just a matter that you die when you go through it no matter what.
Or you merge with your best friend and then get murdered.
Yep. And they figure out that they can use that to save resources, yes.
It is funny how you're reconstituted with the same brain patterns, considering that during the period of transport, your brain patterns would change slightly.
Yeah, they are only approximations. They're not perfect.
Yeah.
I imagine Thomas Riker's got to have a lot of built-up resentment towards Starfleet. Because from his point of view, they just left him for dead. Transport failed, and they never tried again. They just left.
He's really calm.
It kind of explains his turn when he becomes a Maquis member.
Yeah.
Yep.
Some sort of cloning.
You mean not a
Say
unique
not
at
very.
all? Yeah.
Why? Wait. But surely brain patterns can
these
be
are-
cloned because they just were by the transporter.
Yeah, these are two strange episodes to put right next to each other.
I mean, he's a Will Riker.
Actually,
Imagine
our
if
chief
it was
engineer is
revealed
right
that
behind the
all
camera,
these years,
directing
the
you
other
instead.
Riker that we've been working with isn't the true Riker.
He's a shapeshifter. He's a fake.
He's
The
not
Riker-
Or even that, it's like This Thomas Riker became the Riker on the Enterprise.
I don't like Riker in gold. It looks wrong.
It is weird.
I mean, it is bird top
yeah.
uniform.
He's gonna get a fresh gold one later, and it's still gonna look real weird.
Hmm.
Well, that was a mild lens flare.
What is this camera move?
It's
It's,
handheld.
it's LeVar Burton being like, we got a steady cam and we're going to use it.
It's not a steady cam. It's just
Yeah,
some
it's not.
dude walking by.
Now it's on tripod. What happened? Yeah, what was that?
They never do that kind of shot. What was that? I don't know.
Cut to that scene in Enterprise where it's just circling.
You're both real.
Yeah.
Troy had like a fuzzy filter on her, like it was TOS.
So this also means that you could literally just use the transporter to clone anyone at any time.
Yes.
That would have been one way to
Well,
say
maybe not
filter.
at any time. You have to create the exact perfect distortion field.
Well, not really. Does he just put it as a separate pattern buffer with the same pattern
Maybe. Yeah.
and could rematerialize both
Yeah.
separately?
Oh, yeah. Troy does have a filter.
Yeah, that's like 20 years out of date at this point. They never did that.
Well, now that they've got the scientific data, they could probably recreate the experiment.
Who do we replicate
And-
this time?
What they should do is they should do what they do in Voyager and take both Rikers and Tuvix them, but put them back together.
That would work.
Yeah,
They could have just taken both Rikers and put them together, and now you've got the same Riker again.
But again, that would be murder.
Is it murder or is it creative problem solving?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
two
like
things to
a
be
TV.
argued that it's more beneficial to have the two of them. But here it's
Yeah,
literally just murdering one of the Rikers.
So there he is in the fresh uniform, and I don't like it.
Yeah, this is awkward.
Oh yeah, they
Wait,
were
so
still
did
dating
Deanna
at this
know
point.
Will? Right.
Wow, he's like a full head taller than her.
Yeah, Jonathan Frakes is tall. Would it be weird to be jealous of yourself?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a mind that messes with your head.
I thought when I first watched this, I thought the clone was going to be able to do Nightbird like perfectly.
That would have been. He spent the entire time there with his trombone that he made from a box of scraps, practicing Nightbird.
What a fantastic payoff that would have been, though. That would have been
Yes,
a great
yeah.
payoff.
Because usually they do that. They introduce stuff like in the cold open, and then it pays
Make a
off in the
reference.
end. They just never did. Yeah.
So if that's what he got a promotion for, then surely he gets a promotion too, because it's the same valor.
Yeah.
Literally the same thing.
Just
Well, and then
more
you should
reason-
also
He
get a
chose to make his
promotion
career
for-
priorities. He's been stuck on the Enterprise for 6 years, turning every job opportunity down.
Well, if you also think too that he should also get a rank boost just for what he did on that station. Like he kept it running, he kept doing the scientific data, he kept gathering everything. Like
Starfleet really screwed Thomas over here.
Yeah.
He also probably should not go back to work immediately like he's about to.
He'll go to
I would
Risa
say
for
he
a
needs to
couple
see a counselor, but the only counselor on the ship that I'm aware of is Troy, and he should not see her as a counselor.
I think we have
Kinda.
seen
Yeah.
one other counselor.
yeah, Min
Well,
was a
There is-
counselor.
Yeah.
Min wasn't a real person. What do you mean?
Exactly.
Yep, nope, they never rescued you. You're on your own.
It really is a
Well, I
tragic.
mean, in fairness, this is the only time they could have rescued him. If they even knew he was there.
Yeah. Everyone just wants to get rid of this guy. They just don't want him to be anymore.
Well,
And he's
it is
making things
problematic
awkward
having
for
two of
everyone.
the exact same person, and that is true.
He
Yeah, I
does
guess
need
we
to see
could
a
clone
counselor,
Troy
though.
and have one Troy for Riker and have one Troy for Riker.
This
Solve all your
episode shows we
problems with
literally
transporter
could.
cloning.
No, I think if they did that, we would have other things to say about this episode. That might be kind of evil.
It might be a little wrong. Like you clone somebody. Oh, you're his girlfriend now. Go.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
We
just
can't
really
just-
surprised at how mentally stable Thomas Riker is, because after
mean,
what,
it
8
would be
years
the
of
same choice.
isolation, he
Surprised
would
how mentally
be
stable
he would
both
be
Rikers
crazy. He would have
Yeah.
had a beach ball that he was talking to.
are. He had a tricorder that
Straight
showed
to a
us
monster video on that exact thing. But
Like,
they
where's
could
his
clone
Wilson?
Troy and it'd be fine.
Where's his Wilson?
They could clone Troy and be fine because she'd be identical and she'd have chosen to do so in the first place.
Then how do you decide which one is assigned to which?
I suppose that'd be
Flip
her
a coin?
choice.
What were you even going to ask the computer? Locate Lieutenant Riker? That you're just going to confuse the computer.
It is a different Tom badge.
No, in the computer for the file name for his comm badge, it says William T. Riker A and William T. Riker B. That's how they.
parentheses 1.
Yeah, Red Riker is
Commander
kind of evil himself here. Just berating Yellow Riker, for everything he does. It's like, come on, the dude's
Even though he knows exactly what he would do.
he's been isolated for 8 years, alone on a station. No one to talk to.
Allegory for self-hatred, allegory for survivor's guilt. Nah, it's just kind of wacky.
Do you realize how confusing this episode would be if they were both in the same color, though?
I like how
That's
the
the
camera is
point.
very carefully avoiding showing Red Riker's head while Yellow
Yeah.
Riker's on screen.
It's clever, but it's noticeable.
That's what he said in that episode.
Why does he avoid the the weird fight that they had, the joust fight that they
That
had?
Ambo Jitsu?
Yeah, why doesn't he? It's like, oh yeah, Dad came on board and we had an ambo.
I beat him up with a
Beat the
stick.
shit out of me. They have that like dojo just sitting there on the ship. How many people do you
They do
think?
also have very subtle differences in their beards. If you'll notice, Riker's beard Thomas Riker's goes up through his cheeks, whereas Will Riker's kind of really got more defined sideburns.
I wonder how they like did that like in real.
Yeah, they are different.
Like, who do you think was shot later to make that not an inconsistency?
I think Will was shot later.
Because then you have to actually
I'm
cut
sh-
it off.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So he did this whole episode with a double. And then he had to come in with a red uniform and do it again.
Oh, you can really see the differences in their beards in
Oh.
that shot.
Oh, you could tell the arm that was resting on Yellow Riker was not Will Riker's
Yeah.
arm. They were moving in slightly different ways.
They probably put like one half of this episode at the beginning of production order and like the second half towards the end.
Do all the Thomas
Just-
Riker scenes first.
Well, then they would have to keep all the sets built, and they would have had to
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, but that's quite like a waiting for someone's beard to grow like that.
And maybe it only takes a few days. Who knows?
I don't know
How fast does he grow his beard?
Yeah, we do know that Will Riker is quite hirsute.
I just want to look this up on Memory Alpha and see if there's any insight into what they did.
Most of this episode is existing sets, though.
I mean, except for the station but as far as continuity goes, like shooting something like that, like shooting all the stuff with Thomas first and then going back around and shooting it with Will, they would have to do that, days apart. Although they did crank these out in the course of a week, so it wouldn't be too
It was insane production cycles they had.
So this is directed by LeVar Burton. We've previously seen some LeVar Burton directed episodes in DS9, but this is, because TNG came first, of course, this is LeVar's first episode. The first episode he directed is also an episode with insane effects that he has to deal with.
Yeah, that's kind of hard to coordinate.
Baptism
work
by
for the
fire,
blind
he
guy.
called it.
You really had to deal with that 80s split screen, making sure no one touched the camera. If you move that by an inch, it ruins the shot.
Yeah, I'm not able to see how they did that.
They could have just done makeup effects too. You could recreate sideburn, beard hair on his face.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But then, like, for all the rest of the episodes, if they, they cared about continuity, so they probably...
It'd be fun to replace that image with something else and make it into a meme.
What I would replace it with, just offhand, is a picture of himself. Or maybe Captain Picard. One or the other. It wouldn't make sense canonically for it to be Captain Picard, but whatever. It's fine.
What was the ship that left them behind?
The Potemkin, the Pokemon.
It draws the... crosses it out.
Friendship with Potemkin is ended. Now Space Station is my best friend.
Exactly. It's like a child's drawing.
Yeah, like a couple of stick figures.
Yeah, they're all like on fire, and he was just sitting there.
How old is he?
You'll eventually get.
How old is Will Riker? He was... Okay. He was 28 at the start of the series. This is 6 years in. So he's 34.
It's not bad. It's not bad to be almost getting captain every other week.
Yeah, so if he makes captain in the next year, he'll make it. You can do it.
You'll eventually get command in the form of cut and paste CGI ships, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, not this Riker. This Riker
Yeah,
very
sure.
briefly captains the Defiant. And then captains nothing ever again.
So far as we know.
There's probably something in beta canon in a book or a comic, but... He definitely needs a counselor. Not that counselor. He needs a different counselor.
Yeah, he's got to get off the Starfleet. He's got to go to Ryza for like 2 years and just chill out.
8 years of solitary confinement would make you insane.
This would be a lot more believable of an episode if it was like season 2.
I mean, I don't think she's even dated anyone in the last 8 years. So I guess, in a way, she did wait for him accidentally. No, wait, never mind. We've had like 3 episodes where she dated people. No, I take it back. That's a recurring thing. That's most of the episodes she's in. She dates some guy who turns out to be evil.
It's like Xander.
How else are you gonna write women? It's Rick Berman. Come on.
Rick Berman.
For like 90% of Star Trek, it was not good to be a woman actor.
Well, at least Troy has a uniform. Good for her. Riva? Wait, who is Riva? Was he the deaf guy? Riva Steenkamp. Who the heck is that? No, that's not who I'm looking for. South African model. I don't want a South African model. I want the Star Trek character. Okay, yeah, that's the deaf guy. Did they date? I don't remember that.
I think they communicated through telepathy.
General principle of TNG, everyone not on the Enterprise is evil.
In general.
And everyone drinks out of chemistry beakers.
Whoever job it was to get those wacky glasses did a great job. Deserve a raise.
He did a good saucer reconnection there.
Now, how good is he at the salsa separation?
He's very good at emergency saucer separation.
Manually turn off all the computers. Or some.
I want you to connect this cup with this salsa manually, Commander.
What different? Like, how different is a saucer separation, automatic and manual?
I mean, I assume automatic, you just tell it to and it does it. You press the saucer set button and it works. Manual, you have to go there and unscrew the bolts yourself with a wrench.
The funny thing about this cloning of Riker is that it pretty much means that every transporter officer knows that they can clone people at any time they wish.
It don't piss off Chief O'Brien.
I mean, we can reverse aging, we can cure death, we can clone people, we can hold the camera steady, and then once the camera stops moving, Will Riker comes in from out of frame.
You're getting evil clone. You could just become particles. You could physically not exist anymore. You can make Barclay kind of scared.
No, you're coming down on him because he's you, and you feel weird about it.
Yeah.
He should not be back at duty right now. I noticed that Thomas Riker also has bags under his eyes, where Will Riker does not.
Yeah. They probably wanted to make him look a bit more disheveled.
Or haggard.
I think that this Troy would actually be quite happy to be cloned and go with him.
They're the only ones here. They could have done this in like a holodeck or their cabin or.
No, they always do it here.
All right.
With the doors open.
But, I mean, it's one of the very few times we get some girl talk in Star Trek.
Yes, the two women who talk to each other on the show, but they never talk about anything other than a man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of an exception.
There's an outer door there.
I mean, there's a bit where, what are their names? Troy and Ro talk to each other about ship business. But no, her and Beverly, it's pretty much always man talk. Or, Space Ghost talk.
Space Ghost.
Oh, God.
That doesn't look like a Klingon exercise.
Probably because it's based on
Where's Skeletor?
or whatever.
I mean, this might actually be the same Klingon yoga that we saw him do in the prison camp.
That's what I was.
I don't know how this is helpful. It looks more like interpretive dance than exercise, but
It's another handheld rotate shot. Look at that.
wow. LeVar likes his rotating shots.
The camera
Look
usually.
at Deanna Troy's Nikes.
Now kiss.
They have already kissed before in this
There we
episode.
go. Now do you want to
mean,
close
What
the
I always
doors?
find amazing about these
Close the
dual
doors at this
personality
point.
characters is the believability of them in many cases.
Always love 10 forwards windows.
Why
Quite
does...
spacious.
I mean, she does have it for you, kind of, if that helps.
Has anyone ever identified that pyramid prop on the table? Was that
Yeah,
created
it's a
for Star Trek,
little
or is it-
electronic toy. I don't remember how it's played, but it's a toy.
I mean, is it a real toy that they just brought into the set,
Yeah.
or did they build it specifically for Star Trek?
No, it's a real toy.
And Universe is probably used for like ordering a waiter over or something.
Well, we see Alexander play it with Troy in the episode where Worf gets his spine replicated.
A kid just left it there.
Let me try and find again what they are. They're made by Bandai. It's a 1 to 2 player memory game that's played like Concentration, but the objective of the game is to match pairs of sounds. Pairs of sounds. It plays a couple tones and you have to do something with it. It has a little grid of LEDs under the pyramid.
Just move the trombone.
We will see who is the true Riker. The cards will decide.
Yeah, Memory Alpha says it was called Pair Match, was the name of the game.
Yep.
1984.
Don't show Red
Made
Riker's
by
head
Brand
while
of
you're
the
showing
show.
Yellow Riker. Now, shot from behind him, that's clearly a double. That's not Jonathan Frakes, but that's fine. That looks more like Jonathan.
I think they used the same double for both.
I mean, why would they not?
Yeah, absolutely. Fair point.
Does Worf ever not fold?
Yeah.
It is honorable to know when you are defeated.
Well, isn't folding is surrendering?
Yeah.
Kind of.
It's more not putting any more on the table. Like I know
Like
I'm
a
gonna
coward.
lose. Waste. Yeah, exactly. Just
Or
call
it
him a
could be
shit.
strategic.
It's funny.
They could get so much money off Worf. Well, they don't have money. They could get so many replicator rations off Worf if they just told him that folding was dishonorable. It's an act of surrender.
I don't know, folding is a bit more like going inside the walls when the great winds come, when the storm comes in.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems like you're settling. I mean,
Yes.
they've offered you like 5 ships at this point. You keep turning them down to settle for the Enterprise.
One of them did
I mean, the
get blown up.
Enterprise is the most prestigious ship in the fleet, so I get where
Yeah,
he's
but it's
coming
not
from,
his
but-
ship.
Yeah. To be honest, the point of the Enterprise when it comes to ranks is to get a second officer to then have them train on the best ship and then go to another ship.
I feel bad that you feel bad for Thomas at this moment, which is funny because you'd think with him not being our main character, with Will Riker being our main character, we want us to like. I think in this scene they should have flipped it where Will was going to lose.
I think they do that for Lower Decks, the episode, not the show, not the series, where they have who's effectively young Riker wins at poker. Am I remembering that right?
I remember the episode. I don't remember the specifics of that scene.
I remember somebody who Riker has some like personal grief with beats him at poker.
Because I think what we're seeing here is, Will Riker starting to feel inferior because Deanna is going with Thomas and not him, and he's starting to feel like a little
it would have worked.
Self-conscious.
Yeah.
And if Thomas were to have won that poker game, it would have really made Will even feel a little more self-conscious about who he is. And then because we care for him as the main character, it would have made more sense.
And if Thomas played Nightbird perfectly, it would have just been a...
Yeah, it would have just driven the point home that this guy is like a better version of me.
We know he's a better version because he has even more beard.
It's the Samson effect.
So suppose that Deanna in the future starts dating some other person, and they ask how many people she's dated. Does she now have to increase that by 1, or is that the same person?
And a half. It counts as a half.
A half?
Yeah. No, I'd be a bit worried that there's some guy out there with my face just doing whatever.
Twins have to deal with that their entire life. So I mean, it's really not that unique. It's just that discovering you have a long lost twin is really what this episode is.
Yeah, pretty much.
What if, instead of dealing with all this drama, we just shot him?
You just got on, man.
Just remove Thomas Riker from the equation. Or remove William Riker. Either one. They're both the same. It's fine.
Well, I believe that's what one of the original endings of this episode was, is that they were going to kill Will Riker, and Thomas Riker was going to take his place, but then he would be at a lower rank, and they would do the rest of the series with this.
If they did that, I imagine they would never mention it again.
It's Star Trek's Principal and the Popper.
I think that's why they didn't do it, was because they were like, nope, we have to press the reset button at the end of every episode.
Hold on, this gives me an idea. Rather than creating more datas, they could just at some point clone data as many times as they wished and just put him on every ship in the fleet.
Yes, but then you've created a race, and you've subjugated that race to slavery. They have to choose to go on the ship.
That will never happen. Androids will never become slaves.
Well, what you should do is just keep making more until enough of them decide to go on ships. Then it's not slavery. It's consent through brute force.
I think that works. That counts.
Yeah.
They actually just should have done that.
Oh, so yeah, here's in the early stages of writing the episode, Jerry Taylor and the writing staff considered killing Will Riker and having Thomas join the Enterprise as the helmsman, and Data be promoted to first officer.
Yes, but Data first officer.
Well, Data is the best officer. So.
I think they rightfully knew that would have left a bad taste in people's mouth.
I mean, if this show were made today, they would have definitely done that. Like the long form storytelling thing that was kind of pioneered with DS9, they would have you know, and that's become so popular in modern television with like Breaking Bad and Game of
Well, that's
Thrones and
all
all that kind of
shows
stuff.
are now. You're never gonna
Yeah.
find another episodic. They're
An
just
episodic
not
anthology series, exactly. But
And that's
I
what
think it would have
Stranger
been
World's
a
supposed to be, isn't it?
not just like full anthology, like full completely new stories every episode.
it would have been a really cool change though. It would have shaken things up a bit. It would have given the writing staff something to do. Data as first officer would have been cool. It would have been a new challenge for Brent Spiner to have to be the new first officer.
Data is the most competent person on the ship. He should be the first officer or the captain.
You should
Yeah.
have gotten the
Just make
Enterprise.
him the
B.
captain.
If we get rid of Picard with Locutus, and we get rid of Riker with Thomas, then in a hypothetical alternate universe, we could have had Captain Data.
Mm.
I wonder if Data's a thing in the. Ooh, wonder if Data's a thing in the mirror universe.
He's probably like an assassin droid in the mirror universe. He's just a super intelligent serial killer.
If they did kill off Will and just have Thomas be the helmsman, there would have been a whole bunch of episodes of him like learning everything that he hasn't learned in the last 6 years, getting caught up with all the
Oh, no.
characters.
They
Let
would
go.
just gloss over that.
Let him fall. Let him fall. It'll solve all your problems. Long live the first officer.
That would make it quite a bad writer, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
but no one
spoiler
would know.
alert,
There's
he
no
ends up in
witnesses.
prison anyways.
Well, we get like a war situation where he's secretly evil.
Well, and see, the thing is, if they would have built it up so that Will Riker started to feel jealous of Thomas and made really drive that point home, that moment would have been a little scary.
Yeah,
Because
you're
he's
right.
just like, is Will gonna let him die?
He should have lost the poker game, and clone should have played Nightbird.
Yeah.
And then when that moment happens, it would be just like the Lion King with Scar and Mufasa.
Like the entire episode is the clone absolutely being better than Will at everything, and in that moment, I'd be like, "Yeah, see, he's good.
Mm.
You know, he's a Starfleet officer. His morals
better
are
yet.
more important."
Better yet. It's Will that's dangling, and Thomas lets him go, and then Thomas assumes his identity, puts on his uniform, he climbs down there, he switches, goes, "Oh yeah, Thomas fell. No, what a shame."
Often
I'm
wrong
a
Well,
headed,
first
it would
broken
be
officer now.
heart,
difficult in
can't
that
even
specific
tell his voice
situation there
apart.
to do that, but it's slightly different than you could.
Well, what if it was just an accident, and he was like, "Well, let's make a negative a positive. I've suddenly advanced to first officer of the flagship." Just I have a small hitch in my plan. My DisplayPort cables are not long enough for this configuration, Ryan.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't send you the picture, did I?
Is it his trombone?
It's the Riker family trombone. It's been in for 5 generations.
I guess Thomas gets half his stuff.
It's like a divorce.
Well, he should get like literally half the stuff. They should cut everything right down the middle.
Yeah, it
And
should be
then-
like a messy divorce.
No, just throw it in the transporter and clone it all.
Yeah, there you go. Replicate it all. Why not? It would make sense.
Well, they don't care about possessions.
Then why do they all have these possessions covering their quarters? All these ancient relics. They just steal stuff.
Well, some to look at, I guess.
You know, I don't think the transporter itself like has the capacity to clone. Something in that atmosphere reflected it.
Oh,
I don't know
it
what
was-
They can just
yeah, but he copied the pattern buffer, which was the thing which cloned him. He intended to remerge them to
yes.
boost the signal.
but when he shut down the other beam, it bounced back to the
Yeah.
surface. So like you just don't shut it down and just make another one.
Yeah, keep
They
the
should have
pattern
just
buffer
two-vixed
going.
him. They should have just two-vixed him. Put them back together.
Oh my gosh, they just the memories combined.
That
Well,
would
that would be hell.
that would
you get
have
all of
certain odd implications.
Wonder who did that.
But would it be ethical? And I think the answer is yes, because one of them's fake anyway. Then you just get one real Riker at it. You only have half a Riker. Alright, so the next episode, which is pretty good, is Timescape. Which
This one's a good anomaly episode.
it steals a few plot points from the next phase where Geordi and Ro were spooky ghosts. Namely, the Romulan ship with the secret plot.
Oh yeah, these are very similar.
But you know, it works out.
I like this one.
This is also the only time we get to see the rear end of a runabout.
Yeah. Not even in DS9
true.
do you see that.
I know, and it always bothered me. It's like you built the set, like it's already there. Why didn't they just
Yeah.
keep
Continue
using it?
using it.
The funny thing is there's the episode where the runabout that they use is tiny in the physical model that they use.
We see some back areas in Voyager shuttles. Are those runabouts?
No, Voyager
Well,
shuttles
first,
are
press play in
tiny.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. Tiny enough to fit hundreds of them?
Yeah.
Good job, Will. Alright, and we immediately forgot that Thomas Riker existed. However, we also forgot that Emperor Kahless exists, so that's fine. I think we mentioned him once, maybe twice, in all the rest of the series, Kahless.
He looks
That's
like
where they
he's in
take the
pain.
makeup off.
Is a dermal generator painful?
I don't think so.
I think it feels
No. It's all tingly, like when you
Yeah,
sneeze,
yeah, like
but
that.
not from your nose.
It's like when you get water in your nose when you're swimming.
He was trying to feed a cat. And look, the cats are currently playing with each other. Excellent. Careful of the cats. They're dangerous.
Cats are dangerous, especially if you are a mouse.
Okay,
That's
you
basically
can't
just
just
a
throw a gun at someone like that, Riker.
it landed pointing towards her. If her finger just like touched just a pad.
There is an
You know-
activation command, so you have to first activate it.
Yeah, you
You
don't know
still
what
shouldn't
set-
throw guns around.
I mean, in an intake, Riker just flipped the phaser around.
Phasers
Yeah.
have Touch ID sensors like the old iPhones. And
If
you-
someone's pointing a gun at your head and they say, "Oh, don't worry, the safety's on," you're not gonna.
I know what
trust
I
them
can do.
either.
I can. It'd be really hard to edit
Everything
it
can
so like
malfunction.
Beverly falls over having been shot. But I can just play the phaser sound effect, make a fake little beam, and then fade to white really quick. Flash of
You could
white and
also
then
have
it
her
ends.
just
And then-
disintegrate.
And then have Q waiting and say, "Oh, it's the afterlife," and you're dead.
I was thinking
Perfect.
cut to Beverly dead on the floor. Or hurt. Or maybe in a sickbay bed. Because I know she gets wounded sometimes.
Well, that's some big.
Look at
set.
this. It's just a big briefing room.
Size of the runabout's a bit
Diane.
inconsistent. Just a tiny bit inconsistent.
The Scottish accent.
Is it? Is it a good impression of Dr. Mazan?
I like how Picard is like, challenge accepted. I shall now do my own voice.
Oh yeah, she gets shot in this episode. That would be a really easy cut. What?
Yeah.
Well,
That's
the
right.
shot is her. The shot is her standing by herself, catching the phaser. You could just take that, do a freeze frame, and then just have her disintegrate. And then just there it is.
All right, Ian Malcolm.
Ah, the ionization effect of warp nacelles. Fascinating.
This is really dry stuff, Beverly.
Beverly?
Wait. I'm not synchronized.
We're currently at 402, 403, 404, 405.
I'm gonna need a second.
Card was just amazing there.
I mean, they are talking about a dry subject, but not Beverly. This is a really long cold open.
Really highlights the importance
Oh.
of time this episode's gonna have.
What?
Right now,
Oh.
Jordy just froze.
He paused. Yes.
Yeah.
Am I at the right point? Okay.
Yeah. Maybe a few seconds off. We're currently at 442, 443,
They're
444.
both, all three of them are holding really still, which is sometimes hard. And
I don't think they were holding still. I think it just... It was
once again
that
total
frame.
freeze frame on the
split screen
camera.
technology.
there's a little wobble with Patrick Stewart's saucer, but
I mean, I was looking primarily at Jordy's, but with Jordy's, it's really easy to tell that it's just a screenshot, basically, because the film grain stops moving.
the wide shot though, with where it was that overhead shot of the table.
Yeah, the wide
and you
shot, the
saw
wide
all
shot.
three of them. Yeah,
That'll be them holding still.
but yeah, that's where they were doing a really good job of them just holding still. Like you could see Patrick Stewart's saucer move a tiny bit, but the rest of them were.
5 stars.
See ya. That's one anomaly they gotta go investigate.
Yeah. I mean, they're here. That's why the ship is here. They're investigating. They're going to figure it out. They're going to solve it. Also, the camera's panning back to the right, but fake Saturn isn't there. Where did it go? We pan to the left, then we pan back, and now the planet's gone.
And this is the same one shot that is used in every shot.
And in the intro, they're pretty much just going in circles. I mean, they fly off in that way, then they come back. What are they doing?
Sarah Jean Luck.
Are they doing a figure 8 in space?
Yeah.
They're doing donuts, okay?
The continuity of this intro.
Is this what they call a holding pattern?
It'd be funny to see a bird's eye view of them flying around, just to see the shot of them just going in a circle or a figure 8.
Are these evasive maneuvers?
No, because they're having a party.
In HD,
Here's one
it's
thing
cool,
which
you
I
can
just
see people
noticed. I
walking
can't
in
believe
the
I didn't.
observation
Only just noticed it. The warp effect is the same, pretty much the same as the Q effect.
So warp's just... Or Q is just warping things into place?
The best warp effect is the motion picture disco tunnel.
The disco tunnel.
What else would you call it?
Though, for a serious answer, the real best warp effect is in Star Trek Beyond. Really nice visualization of a warp bubble. In fact, if you just search on YouTube Star Trek Beyond warp effect, you can find it real easy.
There's an amazing warp scene in Into Darkness with the Vengeance attacking the Enterprise.
Maybe Counselor Troy is crazy.
Maybe she's
Ryan,
lying.
Are you gonna do watch-alongs with the movies as well?
Yeah. Literally all Star Trek.
Are you gonna do the Star Trek movies after you finish TNG?
The TNG movies directly after TNG series, yes.
Okay.
Are you going to do the Star Trek Christmas special?
There isn't one. But if there was, I would.
Directed by Leonard Nimoy's son. This episode.
Yeah.
She's
she's doing that thing she taught Barkley, tapping
Yeah.
herself on the back of the neck,
Oh, that's pretty good.
which isn't a real thing. That doesn't work, but I guess it's a thing for Betazoids.
It's still a nice piece of continuity there.
Yes. Or it's just a placebo effect. That could be it too.
Well, being a psychologist, she understands the power of the placebo effect.
Unintentional continuity is still continuity.
You were motionless.
I wonder if that was in the script or if that was a Marina Sirtis thought of I'm going to do this for my character, or if the director I'd be interested to know where that came
I've
in.
wondered that myself. I wonder if she came up with that idea.
This has
thing's
some of the
worked at all.
hardest Geordie LaForge technobabble in any episode.
I don't know, sir.
He has a lot of it to do. He does a lot of the technobabble heavy lifting in this episode.
I mean, that's his job in the entire series. He's the
But
technobabble
sometimes
guy.
he sometimes shares that responsibility with Data, but in this one he does most of the lifting.
A subspace string emits... I can't even say it. I can't even recite the technobabble that I know back to him. It emits certain characteristic subspace frequencies as particles decay along its event horizon.
This is a really nice ship.
How much does a ship like this cost?
At least
The economics of the future are somewhat
12
different.
bricks of gold pressed latinum.
Ooh, DS9
But
runabout.
for you, I will give it to you for a mere 9.5.
Nice lean in.
That's a good lane. I don't know about Troy's lane. Troy's lane was a little weird. What happened to the fuel? It got used.
You really do spend a long time in the runabout.
Yeah.
They spend almost
So-
the entire episode here.
No, it's almost it's kind of like a bottle episode because they probably just borrowed the set from DS9. They only really built this set.
Well, they built the back because they
Yeah, they
couldn't
built the
borrow the
back.
front. They could only shot the front because the section was. That's the whole reason.
Your
Yes.
audio is just gone. Some of those
I
were
meant-
sounds.
My audio is gone.
I meant
Is that
if you
better?
understand it.
Yes, now you're back.
Yeah, you
I said that
better.
they couldn't use the front because the production for DS9 was using it, so they had to build the back, and they would just make do with what they could.
Well, they did use the
somewhere
front.
between this scene and the next scene, he finds a nail clipper.
Oh, yeah, that's horrifying.
Yeah, is his hand just older now? Like after
Yeah.
this?
Though,
God, that sucks.
I don't know if this actually makes sense because she said 50 times the normal rate. Maybe that's just the after effect, but if his hand was only in there for like a tenth of a second. Ew.
Well, that's just when he felt pain. We don't know how big that bubble was and how before
His
he
hand is
really
only-
Oh,
felt
wait. Data just
about
said 50
50
times faster
seconds
than
though.
normal.
Yeah.
So his fingernails should
Yeah, so-
absolutely not have grown that much, unless he's clipping his fingernails every single scene.
Yeah.
I imagine if the warp nacelle used all its fuel instantly, instead of just making the ship shake, it probably would have destroyed something.
2 warp nacelles are pretty much essential, apart from the Freedom class, of course. Yeah,
Gene
I don't know.
Roddenberry said it should always be even numbers of nacelles. But, you know,
And they
What
should
about the
always be in
Galaxy X, which has 3 nacelles?
line of sight
he
of
wasn't
each
around
other.
for that. Yeah, they should have line of sight of each other.
I always like those rules just because like Star Trek ships are just so unique looking in their design, and I've always loved that.
What about the Defiant, which doesn't even have nacelles?
It
Yes,
technically does.
there are exceptions to every rule.
Oh no, of course.
It has 2 nacelles, but they don't have line of sight because they're integrated into the hull.
They mildly sloop down at the bottom. If you look very close, you could see that they're technically not breaking it.
But the blue, there's no blue section there to make the field. There's supposed to be. Gene wanted like a visible field between them, but you know,
No, it's fine to break that. I'm just saying, you know, exceptions to every rule, and if it looks good, it looks good, of course.
Right? Yeah, I love the Defiant. I think it
Oh
looks
yeah,
great.
it's fine. It's beautiful. It would have looked a lot worse with like 2 chopsticks pointing out of it.
Did you? The early versions of Defiant were pretty ugly.
Did it have actual nacelles?
It just looked. It looked like a runabout on steroids, and then
Mhm.
it looked like kind of like what we got, but if you
Yeah, I see the
if you made
pictures
it
now on
ugly
the
in every
thing.
way. Yeah, just an uglier version of what we got.
Let me unblur the screen here. So here's I don't know if this is even supposed to be the Defiant, because this is just a beefed up runabout. And then this thing is
Rick Berman.
horrifying. What the heck is this? What is
Rick
this?
Berman didn't want Deep Space Nine to have like a good looking ship because Voyager was the ship.
Yeah, and then
Like-
this
like-
looks.
That's closer. Yeah.
This one looks more like the Defiant, but it looks sort of like Defiant Millennium Falcon mix. To me, at least in the color scheme. I don't know. It's weird. There's the Defiant.
Yeah, the Defiant.
There's that design where it
that we
looks
got.
kind of, yeah. Some weird designs in there. My God.
Wow.
I can't
Ooh.
believe it takes like until the end of the first act to get to this point is kind of insane.
I like how
Like,
the ships are moving relative to the background stars. There's a slight rotation going on. Or maybe a pan. It's hard to tell.
You'd think like this would be the end of the cold open, but it's crazy that it takes the episode this long to get to the big
We're already
plot point.
almost halfway done with the episode, and we just got here. But I mean, I guess there's only so much to do on a frozen ship.
You could have brought in a few more like elements to really up the stakes, but I think it all evened out in the end. It's just a few
works.
oddities and pacing that you can note. Yeah, it absolutely
Hang on, they said
works.
the second beam is coming from the deflector array. No, it isn't.
It's coming from some guy's window.
What is on the neck of the Enterprise? Is it just one giant turbo lift?
Cabins? No. There are definitely people there.
Oh, yeah. There's decks. There's rooms.
And apparently
On the
one
neck.
of them has an energy transfer beam in it.
Well, I believe it's on the same deck as engineering. So, roughly. Or is it?
It's probably much more likely that just an effects supervisor didn't know what a deflector dish was.
Yeah.
But in the remaster, they went and fixed various visual continuity errors, and they just not that one.
Gene Roddenberry wasn't there to yell at people for not knowing what the difference between shields and deflectors were.
I don't know what the difference between shields and deflectors are. At a guess, I would say deflectors are for like space dust.
Yeah,
you are correct.
The dish pushes out fragments in front of the ship, and the shields protect the ship all around it.
The deflector dish is
But then
the
what's the
glowy
difference
part at the
between
front.
deflector screens? Because they say to raise those in TOS when they're fighting an enemy ship.
The truth is, it doesn't matter, and no one paid attention enough.
Yeah, that's very clearly nowhere near the deflector away.
It goes past. It very
not even
clearly
from
goes
the middle
past
of
the
the-
deflector.
I don't know what the point of that is. Yeah, TOS.
How could it get that so wrong?
TOS continuity, I just try not to worry about.
It's the same with the Klingons. Just don't think about it.
Well, I've been
So
watching
you make the point
TOS.
with the deflector screens in TOS. It does kind of make Riker's statements in Picard different in canon that he says raise deflectors.
Well, that's one of the fun things. I've been watching TOS in production order right now, and it's interesting to see as they finally start to canonize things and make things consistent.
Though you should never turn deflectors off, because that's how you prevent stuff from absolutely ripping through your hull when you're flying at like warp 5.
Or any warp.
Yeah, any warp
Holden's
at
too,
all.
we're
Even
doing
impulse
quite
would
nice.
destroy
There's one
things.
Romulan in the background. Oh, there's one. Okay. 3 Romulans on the bridge.
This is another impressive 80s split screen technology they got
The
going
back
on here.
Romulan is talking to Tracy.
One of these Romulans is not like the other. One of these Romulans just doesn't belong. There are 4 Romulans.
I don't understand how you could be so mistaken. Oh, that guy moved a little when the camera cut to him.
Oh, his hand
Yep.
just moved up. You see that?
But overall,
Yeah.
they all do a really good job.
Yeah,
staying
yeah.
Still,
You think they got like those statue street performers for some of the Romulans?
Maybe.
that would be
Instead
a
of
good
painting them
idea.
silver gray, you just paint them green.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if we should split up.
Once again, Data, you don't go to main engineering because it's not coming from the deflector dish.
How much energy could have... How much energy... How much energy...
Jeez, it's coming from the rear of the Enterprise there.
It is.
You
Could it
I mean,
possibly
you used several
cons-
different shots.
At least...
It's clearly a deliberate choice there for some reason.
So, yeah, the 2 windows that it was coming through were brightly lit with the same color.
Do you think at some point in the script there was like something else there?
Must have been.
Because there's no way, because that's consistently wrong. That's just not like a one scene mistake.
And yeah, they are just standing still and it's not a composite. You can tell if it's a composite because the film grain will stop.
Mhm.
No, that was very good.
Well, and then doing these shots handheld can also hide some of those little jitters too.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because you start
interesting. That makes sense, yeah. It would sort of just get masked by the movement of the camera.
I'm trying to watch the people in the background to see if they ever blink. Oh, Troy kind of knocked that guy and he jiggled.
Another one of these.
It's a fake.
It's a fake.
Maybe
It's a fake.
maybe during another like write of the script, it was coming from the Romulan ship instead.
Maybe.
Because I can
It's a
see no other
break.
reason why they would keep putting it at those 2 windows.
He's too out of focus now. I can't see if he blinked. Worf seems pretty chill about this. Also, are we sure we want to move his hand there? Is that going to press a different button? What's that going to do?
Yeah, and time is still moving. It's just going very slowly. So if he just accidentally triggered some kind of, something.
Worf's
we
hand
wouldn't
just
know.
broke the light barrier in his point of frame. Point of frame? Point of reference. Frame of reference.
And it broke his wrist. And then when
Hey,
he
you
wakes
got
up,
it.
he'll be like, "There's only 2 people could have broken my wrist."
Counselor Troy. Commander Data.
Counselor Troy and the old guy. They really like that panning to like actor frozen and then
Oh,
cutting
she's
to
moving a
actor
lot.
Frozen.
Yeah.
Look at that guy standing in the back. Like, he's supposed to be walking, but both of his feet are firmly planted, which is not how people walk. You shift balance from one foot to the
Yeah.
other.
Oh.
Well, they're really just heightening the stakes here right at the start.
Goodness
It's
gracious.
a
Well,
good
not right at the
episode.
start. We're actually
It's
pretty
not-
close to the end.
It's true.
True. Yeah, that is very true. I just mean right at the entrance.
It's,
of
the
it being
the
on
pacing of
Enterprise.
this episode is just the only thing really odd about it. Which is ironic for an episode that's so focused on time.
Infinitesimal is not a thing, by the way. Continue, Mr. Data.
He's
English
just
language can change in 400 years.
infinitesimal is a perfectly valid way to describe that.
Yeah.
It has a definite measurement. You can define it. It's not undefinable. It's not infinitesimal.
Infinitesimal is used metaphorically a lot.
At least he didn't say it was exponential.
We're going to see just how good Picard's art is.
Yeah, yep.
A lot of this episode, too, one of the reasons the pacing is so weird is they introduce a lot of these weird rules with time and like the warp field that they have to wear and how it makes them go crazy and all this other kind of stuff. Like, they
It-
could
it-
they
it's
really
what
could have just
happens-
streamlined it and said, "Hey, here's these magic armbands that make us interact with the timeline."
Yeah,
But-
this is a perfect example of what happens when you're too focused on specifics and not telling a good story.
Yeah.
Oh, Picard's having a good time, though.
Yeah, he's thinks it's all right, rather good.
Everything's okay.
This is also a strange plot point.
Yeah, this idea that it makes you go crazy and
It seems like everyone had like a few ideas of what they wanted the story to be,
Yeah.
but they couldn't really decide, so they just did it all.
All the things.
What is the purpose of this plot point? What does it serve in the story?
Yeah.
Other than
Patrick
to get
Stewart
Picard
really
off the
wanted
ship.
to. Yeah, he just
They needed to raise the stakes a little bit more.
Patrick
He's-
Stewart wanted to sit down for the rest of the shoot.
Oh, that glass does not look very strong. It's flexing a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. We saw the number on the runabout. I wonder if that's the same runabout as DS9, if they changed the number for it.
if it's the Rio Grande or something.
Is it the Rio Grande? It might be the Rio Grande.
Look it up.
I mean, this whole scene is just like temporal narcosis, and it's like, it's just, there's a lot of stuff that they could have just streamlined.
Patrick Stewart has been playing like a really small role recently in these episodes. I wonder if he was like doing something at the time.
He wanted to be off the show at the time. He didn't even want to come back for the 7th.
Well, they mentioned Deanna being on the Romulan ship.
Okay, so I think I found the number, but I want to confirm before I make any definite statements here. Because I don't want to get people excited.
Is it one of those things where the makers of the show were like, no one's going to see the number. We're not broadcasting in HD. What is
Oh,
HD?
look
Like,
at
no one will
that.
see.
That is a good pan.
That once again, that beam was very, very specific of where it's coming from.
It's coming from 2 brightly lit windows.
Yeah, that's so. There had to be something else in like a different script.
What? Wait, why is Counselor Troy the one giving orders?
Because she's been on the ship before, or a Romulan ship.
Oh, right. Okay.
We get a good look of the Romulan power source here, the artificial black hole.
Oh, right. This is the episode with the weird, like, alien incubation thing.
Yeah, they keep tacking
Yes.
stuff onto this episode. They really should have simplified it to just being a normal.
There's a
or
lot
like
happening.
A pretty simple temporal anomaly episode with just way too much going on.
Well, they could have done some really interesting stuff with time bubbles moving at different rates. They touch on it a little bit where they have the one nacelle drain of its fuel, but they could have done more fun little clever things like where half the ship is in one time frame and
Yeah, there
the
you
other
go.
half is in the other.
And the bubble is moving up the ship, and it's sort of like taking areas along with it.
But yeah, they go crazy with egg incubators and temporal narcosis and
Spending the first act of the
armbands with
episode.
phase discriminators but the overall theme and like story I like the
Oh, yeah.
idea
It's,
of
it's a fun episode.
I still like the episode. It's just when you take a closer look, you can sort of see some cracks. But
yeah,
that's
agree.
just looking too close. It's a good episode.
But that's what we do on these streams. We look way too close at things.
Yeah, it's at its own fun and it's right. Just as long as you don't get obsessive.
Yeah.
Okay,
Is
so
this
the
your first
runabout
time
is
here?
NCC 72-something-52, 72452, which is the USS Rio Grande.
It is the Rio
Look at
Grande.
that.
Oh. Nice.
See, this kind of stuff is fun and clever too, where time moves forward and then it resets itself, and they go backwards. There's a lot of fun little clever things that's
Yeah,
cool to see, but it's like you could have done a whole episode where everything was running backwards.
It's all really good. It's just a bit unfocused, but it's fine. Like in the grand scheme of things, it's fine.
Not the Enterprise. Again.
He doesn't
Listen.
seem to care.
How many times is the Enterprise destroyed? There's the episode where we get
I've been
Picard
wondering
number
that,
2,
yeah.
who's out of phase with his time. Season 1 or 2.
Number 2.
There's
All good
Cause and Effect where it
things.
dies like 4 or 5 times.
There's one time when it shoots itself, or rather, one parallel universe clone of it fires at the other.
That
Is that
is
Voyager?
Parallels. No, that's
Yeah,
Parallels.
Parallels.
The one where Worf is jumping around.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that one.
Yep.
and the people at war with the Borg are like, no, we're not going back there.
All good things.
You don't know
Three
what it's like in
Enterprise
our
blow up.
universe.
Oh yeah, all good things.
And then Generations, the whole
The
ship
The one
used to
time
blow
it's
up.
destroyed for realsies.
It's destroyed for
Yeah,
real
finally.
by
Well, I mean, the
By
drive
Ursa
section is the
Vator.
saucer section is still there. Like they could have just gotten some tractor
Put it-
beams and brought up the saucer section, and
Well, I think they do at
I mean,
the end.
saucer
They
section.
don't leave it there.
saucer section doesn't even have a deflector dish.
So I found a thing, an article about how many times it has blown up. But they don't list things that we've already mentioned when we know it blows up and we see it blow up. It's
Oh,
incomplete.
boo. Someone was being a bad fan.
How dare they? Not a Romulan. What could he be?
what class of ship was the Enterprise E? Was it a Sovereign class?
Yes.
Yeah, Sovereign.
Yes.
I'm not much of a fan of Sovereign class. Too spindly.
What? The Sovereign
No,
class
I was
is one of
really
the
sad
best
when they-
classes.
Yes.
I was
I
really
know,
sad
I
when the D
know.
was destroyed, though. When the Enterprise D blew up in Generations, I mean, it was a great cinematic moment. But man, I was really sad when that ship.
But of course, the best ship class is the Jaeger. Everybody loves the Jaeger.
Dan,
But
you
you hate
pretty
the
good.
Jaeger.
Some sort of energy patterns.
Some sort of something.
Some sort of energy patterns, Mr.
I always
Data.
found it weird how they say aliens, like it's not just standard that people are different species.
Some sort of embryo. Some sort of energy pattern.
Well, they're so alien to them. They're unlike any aliens that they've ever encountered before. So
Yes.
they're extra alien.
They're metaphorically alien. Why does he
Must
talk
say
with a
no.
resonance?
Because he's different. He's alien.
It's out of phase or
A
something.
different time frame. There's an echo.
Yeah.
It's not even that big of a gravity well. It's like a centimeter across. Is he dying, or is he just going back to where he came from?
Both?
No, Data, that's the exact opposite of what he said. He said they thought the Romulan core would suffice, but it didn't.
Yeah.
They knew it was artificial. They just made a bad decision.
Not a lot of cross-checking on the screenplay with this one.
How would you even transfer power to something that's powered by a black hole?
They just
Very
run
careful.
an extension cord. Apparently, just run an extension cord out the window of someone's quarters.
Yeah?
across the other ship.
That room was just the nearest open outlet.
It's the only one with a free plug.
Do you think you had to get a special adapter? You know, like, oh, we use the 3-prong and you guys use the 4-prong, and we got to get the.
Did
go on
he
Amazon and
take
get the
that
adapter.
Romulan with him?
I don't think
I think
he
it-
was
his
possessing a
body.
Romulan. I think it was just a fake body.
Right.
Well, he said this body is not my own.
God, those beds look so uncomfortable.
It's
They don't
also
even
has
look
to have
long
the
enough for
heat
someone to
to
sleep
the
in.
form, but yeah.
Well, and then when
It's-
you consider that the majority of that rear cargo area is just a table for them to eat lunch, like they could have divided this up and have some more appropriate quarters.
I think there's different configurations. Because like they've said
need
that
it.
sometimes there's passenger seats back there. Sometimes there's just pure storage. It could really be anything.
But it is nice
It's-
to have them just say, this is where they sleep. That somebody had that thought of like, if these guys are going to be on this runabout for a while.
Yeah, way better
gotta
than
have
the
a bunk.
shuttle sleeping quarters.
I'm pretty sure
The
the shuttle
ground.
sleeping quarters are the chair.
Yeah.
Oh, the
yeah.
space shuttle. There was
No, not
there
the
was some
space-
bunks, but then. Oh,
We're talking about Star Trek
I mean,
shuttles.
we can talk about the space shuttle as well, but we're specifically talking about the TNG boxy shuttle. But what's up with the space shuttle bunk?
they have a few bunks, and then they have like sleeping bags that are attached to the wall, the storage
that's pretty
container wall,
fun.
where they have all their personal effects. So
So they zip themselves in so they don't float around.
correct. Yep.
Oh, wait, the
No.
DS9 runabouts did have rooms. Yeah, because remember from the search when Quark, Nog, Jake, and Cisco went out, they're specifically
Go back
talking
to your-
about like, oh, bring these to my quarters or bring these to Quark's quarters.
The runabouts are a lot bigger than people think they are, even in the show.
Well, it's
Well,
also
I'm
nice
a-
to think that they're a customizable ship depending on the circumstance.
Yeah, the Danube class is really like you could do anything with it pretty much.
What is that on the display? When they reverse that effect, it sounds like an Imperial Death Star klaxon. That's what they're called.
I like how the disruptors sucked the beam back in.
There's an episode of Red Dwarf where everything moves backwards. It's one of the best episodes of the series.
God, he was about to stop it. You broke it, lady. Good
Yeah.
job.
I like how he pops his head up here.
Don't engage it. Don't do it. You fool.
I like how they
What?
always explain what they mean afterwards.
Why
Even
can't
though
it be
you should know what
disengaged?
that means.
Why can't you just turn it off?
Because it's saturated.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
How does the
Oh, he
Romulan
was
know how to
talking
fly the
to
ship?
God. I like how they went through this whole trouble to explain that all these still motion scenes that we saw, we had our own thought
Perfectly
of what was
innocent.
going on. We were all
Everything
wrong.
was fine.
Yeah.
No, it's pretty clever. I like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
friendly Romulans.
He didn't push Weicker down. He was helping him up. He wasn't shooting Dr. Crusher. He was shooting at another alien.
Kind of convenient that it was all happening within like the same exact time span. Well, it's fine.
He
It's
wasn't
whatever.
shooting
It's
at
good.
Dr. Crusher. He was shooting at another alien.
Yeah,
Or is there
another
something
alien.
about Dr. Crusher we don't know?
Dr. Crusher is an alien to the Romulans.
Yes.
Oh, poor runabout.
Oh,
See
there's
you,
Tracy.
Rio Grande.
Wait, can Tracy solve it? Can she shut down the power transfer? No, not the Rio Grande. No. Ah, that's... Wait, what
They
happened to the
blew up
Romulans?
so many runabouts in Deep Space Nine. It's fine.
Where did the Romulan ship go?
Yeah, what happened there?
Only like 3 of those people were actually fake. What happened to the rest of them? Are they... Do they not exist? Did we just kill an entire ship of Romulans?
Oh, it's all right. The Enterprise is okay.
I mean, they acknowledge that the Warbird vanished, and they say it went to its own timeline. But
I didn't know the Warbird was from a different timeline.
It's not from a
what about
different
all the
timeline.
Romulans?
Neither did the Romulans.
So what?
What-
Okay,
what
it's
happened?
just content.
Successfully evacuate? Oh yeah, they did. We successfully evacuated. Okay, they got rid of. They got all the Romulans off.
But
All right.
what? But he said continue the evacuation, and then like 5 seconds later it disappeared. What happened?
Transporters quick.
Where's that cat?
I do like this little end here.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
this is-
It's
this is
it's
a
got a
great
good.
Here's the cat.
It's got a good payoff with the beginning with Riker and being afraid of the cat, and then just this idea of turn off your clock. Because for a while there, they forget the idea of Data wanting to be human, but it's nice that they come back to that and go like, oh yeah, we're gonna.
I totally forgot that was the beginning of
But
the
this-
episode.
This scene here isn't like 6th season Data. This is like 1st or 2nd season
Oh, the-
Data. You know what I mean?
The stream's
I'm
dying.
fine with it.
It's only a few minutes.
All right, the stream is gone,
Stream's
but that's
dying.
fine. The episode's
happened?
basically over. Don't worry about it. This will work fine in the VOD. It's fine. Okay, the stream's back. It
What
fixed
happened?
itself. I don't know. It's doing the same thing it was doing before.
Uh-oh. Well, that's a
A
problem.
watched pot never boils. Data, are you not aware of the concept of
By now, he should
metaphor
know.
or figures of speech or...
Yeah, that's my point. This is a first season Data thing.
Yeah.
Well, I like that. That's sort of thing. That's what I like about this scene is that they bring it back. This idea of Data like
I'm
still learning to be human.
I'm pretty sure he knows it's a metaphor. He's just trying to learn how to experience time differently. He knows.
Oh,
He's
but
just
I also
trying
see
to
it as
change.
him. I also see it as him trying to test the metaphor to get that same experience. You know,
Add a sitcom laugh track to this scene.
Data's face units at the end there.
The laugh track
Looks
right
a
now.
little incredulous. Slightly incredulous. So happy ending to the episode, maybe. Not so happy ending to the stream because it is now at 0 kilobits per second. It's now catching back up, trying to fix itself. Yeah,
We
not
have an
ideal.
incredible episode next week. Utterly incredible episode next week.
Ah, Descent.
Which one's that?
Descent.
Next week we get the bit where
We get the
Lore
only person to have ever played himself on Star Trek.
gets a cult of Borg, so that's fun.
see, and this is the beginning of season 7 where we get all of the family drama, the family
Yeah.
drama episodes, because it goes from Data and his brother, and then we get LaForge and his mom. We get
His fire ghost mom.
Yeah, his fire ghost mom. We get Data in his dreams, and yeah.
All right,
I mean,
so
but-
let's see exactly what's coming up. So tomorrow on DS9 is going to be His Way, where Odo gets a girlfriend, The Reckoning, where Kira and Jake get possessed by spooky ghosts, and Valiant, where everyone on the ship you want to punch in the face.
Perfect.
Oh,
Next week is going to be Descent Parts 1 and 2, where Lore gets a cult. Liaisons, which some of it is really weird, some of it's really good, but it's about ambassadors. And Worf being, unhappy. And Interface. And Interface is about Geordi's mother, and I think that's the only episode I've only seen once.
it's not very good.
That's all you need. That's all you need to see it.
Maybe twice.
Yeah.
Maybe
You only
twice.
need to see it once.
But yeah, that's it for today.
You do 2-parters as one.
Yes, 2-parters count as
You
one
count those as
episode.
one?
Unless there are like two parters in a day, then that would be too much. The 7-part
episode
DS9
of
finale
Data's-
does not count as one.
That's good. I was gonna ask.
Oh, and then it'll be and then the week after that, you have Gambit 1 and 2.
Yep.
Wow, they had two-parters that close together. Well, I guess they weren't, because if you consider that Descent Part 1 was the season finale of 6, and Descent Part 2 is the series premiere.
Yeah.
Mm.
Anyway, that's it for today. Tomorrow, DS9. Next week, TNG and DS9. And the final part of Star Trek: A Final Unity on Thursday. We should be finishing that. It's a good game. I think I like the TOS game more, but Final Unity's good too. We're done here.
I don't know who you are anymore.
We're done here. Leave.
Yeah.
Be gone.
I thought I knew you, Ryan.
The higher the viewer.